Welcome, everybody. My name is Megan Medlin. I am the founder of H.I.R.E, which is the hub for integration, reentry, and employment. We work with individuals who are justice involved and help them get linked up with community resources and employment to help them get back on their feet. And part of that process is we offer our workforce ready workshops, which we offer virtually. So today we're offering the Educational Opportunity Program to learn more about programs that are available for people trying to attend college. Next week, we do on Wednesday from 12 to 1, also online, we're having another workshop on considering home ownership. So if anyone's interested in purchasing a home or considering that pathway. And then also coming up next month, we have our Youth and Family Fair on June 20th in Santa Ana, which is geared toward youth age 12 to 24 and their immediate families. And we have vendors, employers, tons of giveaways, food boxes, all sorts of fun stuff. So definitely spread the word, come on out. And then closing out next month, we have a secondary workshop on mortgages. So if you were considering home ownership, now you get to learn about mortgages, and that one is on June 26th. All of our workshops and events are posted on our website under upcoming events if you're interested in checking those out. So today I want to welcome Tom Fuentes from Banc of California, who's going to be talking to us about the EOP program. And Tom, I'm imagining if people have questions, they can interject or add them or whatnot throughout, but we will get questions at the end as well. And so with that, I will turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks. And then, of course, I'll make the presentation available to you in case you have anyone who needs access to any of the links that we have embedded for the kind of extra information within there. But yeah, so really glad to be here. Again, my name is Tom Fuentes. I'm the Community Outreach Officer for Banc of California. And today we're going to be talking about the Educational Opportunity Program, which is a part of our college workshop series at the bank. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So for objectives today, by the way, this is not a very in-depth topic for the most part. We could go through kind of fast, but if we have questions at the end, we can go ahead and get to those too. But only 4 topics for this. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Educational Opportunity Program history, a little bit about the nuts and bolts of the program, how you apply to the program, and the resources associated to EOP. So this one actually came upon my radar not too long ago. We've been doing the college workshop series now for about 6 or 7 years, and we just added EOP as an option for financial literacy about a year and a half ago. And this was totally under my radar. But the crazy thing is that EOP was created in the 60s. So EOP was created to overcome economic and social barriers that prevented minorities and underrepresented students from attaining a college education. The student-led campaign resulted in the passing of Senate Bill 1072 in April 1969, which officially established the program. So today, EOP is available at 23 CSU campuses and 4 UC campuses. The remaining UC campuses, they do have programs that are similar to EOP, but they're operated specifically through that school itself, okay? The program continues to provide access and support services for students from first generation and historically disadvantaged backgrounds. So a little bit more about the program. The Educational Opportunity Program designs, administers, and supports programs that deliver access and retention services to historically low income and educationally disadvantaged students. An EOP student has the potential to perform satisfactorily in college, but has not been able to realize this potential because of economic or their educational background. The program provides wraparound support for the student. And really, this is something that I wish I would have known about when I went to college the first time. I ended up going to a Cal State school right out of high school, and I didn't do very well. I actually ended up flunking out in my sophomore year, and I didn't go back until years later to finish up my bachelor's degree. A program like this probably would have gave me a little bit more support to keep me engaged and to keep me going in my academic career. But I just was unaware of it at the time. And so I'm glad that we're talking about it today. But really, EOP provides wraparound services for the students to provide help with admissions, anything that has to do with your academic life, as far as registering for classes, knowing what classes you need to register for the particular concentration that you're going to be studying. And also will go ahead and provide extra financial assistance for when you need to fill out your FAFSA. Because remember, you need to fill out your FAFSA every year as you go through college. Oh, and by the way, for undergrad students, let me put an emphasis on that. This is a program for you and your undergrad. So who can apply for the program? Only historically low income, educational disadvantaged students who need admission assistance and support services to succeed in college are eligible to apply for EOP. They must demonstrate academic potential, motivation to succeed, and meet income criteria. That income criteria is very specific. And again, it's going to be derived from your FAFSA. So you have to make sure before you even make the determination of knowing what colleges you'd like to apply for and being able to apply for EOP, the very first step that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to fill out your FAFSA, which is the form that's going to open up the door for you to be able to qualify for state and federal grants, and as well as any federal loans that may be applicable for your academic career. So the EOP income criteria is derived straight from that source. EOP applicants must demonstrate the family is unable to provide an annual contribution of more than $1,500 toward their college expenses. These guidelines reflect an income level that will generate an expected family contribution, or what's known as an EFC, of approximately $1,500 through FAFSA. The guidelines are intended to identify and give priority to the most financially needy applicants. If you haven't done your FAFSA yet, or if you have a little bit of knowledge in it because maybe you're a sophomore or junior in college, you'll know that after you submit your FAFSA and enter in all of your income documents into the system, that it's going to spit a number out, which is called the EFC number, expected family contribution number. That EFC number is going to be directly related to whether or not you qualify as an EOP eligible student. There's other eligibility criteria. So an EOP student has a history of low family income, must be enrolled on a full-time basis. Part-time attendance requires program director's approval. Now, this is important not only for the purposes of EOP, but important for the purposes of whatever FAFSA financial aid you get, depending on your status, on the amount of time you are as a student, whether you take 1 or 2 classes, which would be considered part-time, or whether you're on a full-time basis, 3 or more classes. If you fall below part-time attendance, you will need the program director of the school that you're attending to, you will need their approval to continue into the program. You must be an undergraduate student. An EOP student needs admissions assistance as an exception admit or meets regular admission requirements, but in the opinion of EOP personnel, because on the campus that you're going to be going to, whether it's one of those 23 CSU campuses or the 4 UC, there's EOP personnel on site for you. There's an EOP office and personnel on site for you to go get assistance from. But anyway, it could be of the opinion of EOP personnel that will require a full range of assistance to succeed. An EOP student has been nominated by an appropriate state agency, a California high school or community college, the Veterans Administration, a campus president, or a designee of the CSU or UC system. So what can EOP do for you? So while services may vary from campus to campus, because remember, each campus is going to have its own dedicated office and dedicated personnel to facilitate the program, EOP is a comprehensive program designed to provide participants with outreach, admissions help, and both academic and financial support. One of the cool things about this too is you are going to be one among many EOP participants on the campus that you're going to be doing your college education at, right? So it's a good way to connect and network with your peers and build out new friendships and people to lean on as maybe a new incoming freshman, for example. You know, EOP participants receive ongoing and regular advising, tutoring, mentoring, and workshops designed to increase retention and graduation rates. And this is ongoing support throughout the year. All these services are offered by the EOP office. And the awesome thing, completely free, doesn't cost you a thing. Participants also have the opportunity to develop their leadership skills by attending a regional EOP student leadership conference. And I had the pleasure about a year ago of running into a student who we were helping with the FAFSA workshop. And it just so happened that the student just attended the EOP Student Leadership Conference that summer and was a student of UC Santa Barbara. And they told me that they had a fantastic time at the leadership conference. They were able to network, meet new friends, and all of the workshops that happened during the conference were completely beneficial, and they really had a good time with it. So the Student Leadership Conference is kind of the big event for the year, and you can get a lot of value from that. EOP also offers a summer program where participants are provided with the opportunity to adjust and transition to the university environment. This is one of the other things too that I kind of wish that I knew about as far as program wise, that I would have glommed onto coming out as a high school student right into college. Adjusting to the academic life I saw as a high schooler into college was vastly different than my high school career. The amount of freedom that you have, the amount of personal responsibility that is going to be on you to make sure that you're going to the classes you sign up for. I had issues with as a freshman. Anyhow, but EOP can help with these kind of things and provide opportunities so that you can better adjust to whether you're coming from high school into a four-year university, or even transitioning from a junior college into a four-year university. They can help you make those adjustments, and so for you to get comfortable in that university environment. And then, of course, there's that extensive educational support and service network that you have in meeting fellow EOP participants as well. So while strengthening math, English, and other academic skills, the summer program also allows participants to formulate a strong sense of belonging and a connection, not only to your peers and other students, but to the university as a whole. I don't know if I'm talking out of turn as far as speaking for other people, but I know for myself, and if you talk to anyone who went to a four-year university, graduated with a bachelor's, anyone that went and got their master's, there really is a sense of school pride when you get that diploma. I graduated with a bachelor's in political science from Cal State San Bernardino, and I love my school. I absolutely do. EOP will help you transition into that environment so that you can get better connected with the university that you're going to be spending 4 or more years at, right? So how do you apply? So this is actually super easy. It's actually built into the university application. So to apply and submit EOP, it's electronically part of the CSU or UC application. It's baked into it. The EOP application is automatically a part of the supporting information as a part of the application system. So the input that you put in your CSU or UC application for the school that you're applying to will automatically pull in that information into the EOP application. You just need to make sure that when you're doing your college application, that you're selecting yes, that I am interested in applying to EOP to be considered for EOP. So don't forget that. In the application process, you will be prompted with a yes or a no. You have to hit yes to be considered for uh, to see the EOP application and to apply for it at the college that you're going to be applying for. So for more information, because we're in the middle of a school year right now, a lot of the information that's going to be on the EOP websites is from this academic year. So the deadlines always tend to be at the end of the year in December or in the beginning of the year. So here's EOP admissions by term. And again, this was for fall of 2024 in the current academic year we're in. And the cool thing is that it's broken down by all the campus options that you have. So I don't know if I've made it clear. Let me just put a point on it too. Remember, EOP is specifically for California schools, right? 23 CSU campuses, 4 UC campuses. So if you're applying out of state, this wouldn't be applicable. But yeah, it has all the campus breakdowns. It has your deadlines here of when you need to have that application in. And they will be updating the chart for the new academic year soon. And then you'll see the date shift from January 2025 and December 2024. Okay. Whoops. Let's go back to our place here. Yeah, so, and again, we'll make sure that you have the PowerPoint available to you so you have access to the links. And then also, we have the link of where you would apply. And remember, this is baked into the application process for the school that you would be applying for. So it's just going to be a part of the CSU California State University website. And again, it's available at the 4 UC campuses too. I forget off the top of my head, I think we talk about the 4 that it's available at, I think. And that would be available on the UC University website as well. Information about participating in publicly funded programs such as subsidized housing, public or affordable housing programs, Section 8 employment training programs, or lunch programs may also help in you qualifying to be an EOP student. Supporting documentation is necessary. This is the kind of thing that would be required maybe if the EFC was too high, that would not make you eligible. There are other supplementing factors that can make you qualify, and those would be the information listed here. Full names and email addresses of 2 individuals who can complete the EOP recommendation forms are also required in your application process. We'll talk a little bit more about that now. So as a part of the application process for EOP, you have to have 2 letters of recommendation. So you should contact your recommenders before submitting EOP to get the correct spelling of their names and accurate email addresses. And of course, you're going to want to ask them in advance to make sure that they actually would like to be recommenders for you. So make sure you're doing this well in advance of doing your college application and your EOP application so that you have those 2 people nailed down and you know who you can call on for the purposes of giving you those letters. So talking to your recommenders in advance will help you determine if they have time and are willing to complete the forms in the first place. The recommenders will be answering questions about your academic skills, your personal characteristics, your motivation, your achievements, and any barriers to success that you have. So you really need to make sure that you're picking recommenders who know you personally, who know you academically, so that they can provide really good, rich context into that recommendation letter so that those EOP folks can get a really good idea of who you are and the type of academic college career you have in your future. So whom to select as recommenders? Okay, so one recommendation must be from an academic counselor or teacher who can comment on your academic preparedness for university life. The second recommendation can come from an individual who can comment about your potential to succeed in college. So for example, a counselor or teacher again, but maybe a community member or an employer if you have a job, right? So recommendations from friends or relatives would not be acceptable. So please make sure that you are selecting recommenders within these guidelines. EOP recommendation forms adhere to strict guidelines. Some campus deadlines may vary, but you can check the EOP deadlines by term by clicking the link here. We won't go into it because remember, this is going to be old information because we're in a current academic year that's ending soon, right? But please, you check this link and it'll vary campus to campus. Just make sure you know the deadline based on the campus based on the college that you're applying for. The Cal State Apply application will automatically set the deadline at 2 weeks from the day you request the EOP recommendation. Recommenders can complete the form after the 2-week automated deadline, but both recommendations must be received by the campus deadline. Okay, so please make sure you're adhering to those guidelines. Once you add your EOP recommenders' names and email addresses into the EOP application and submit the CSU or UC application, they'll be emailed with a request to complete their part. So this is all electronic. This isn't anything that they have to mail in. It's your responsibility to ensure that the 2 recommendations are submitted by the deadline. You can check on the status of the recommendations on your CSU or UC Apply application by using the check status tab in your account profile, okay? So one other thing I would recommend to make sure that we're adhering to those deadlines is, again, this is gonna be on you to make sure that your recommenders are meeting their deadline. Send them a friendly reminder email to say, hey, everything's in motion now. You should be receiving an email to complete the recommendation electronically. Just wanted to give you a friendly reminder on that. There's going to be some EOP biographical questions as a part of your application. These questions must be answered in the EOP application. It's recommended that you prepare your responses in advance and ask a teacher or counselor to help with proofreading your submission. Be sure to respond and precisely and honestly as possible, and expand on each answer. You don't want those answers to be too brief. You want to add some good context to it so that they know where you're coming from. Use complete sentences and avoid responses such as yes or no, because remember, we want a good detailed response. And responses to each question have a 2,500 character limit. Let's talk briefly about these questions because there's quite a bit. And the questions vary depending on if you're going to a Cal State University or if you're going to a University of California school. So we'll kind of breeze through these kind of fast. Depending on whether you're going to CSU or UC, while the questions are different, they're pretty similar. But let's just touch on these really quick. For CSU, 1, briefly describe your family's economic background. 2, why would you like to attend college? 3, briefly discuss your academic background. 4, list any volunteer, extracurricular activities, or work experience that you've had in the past 2 years. 5, is there any additional information you would like EOP to consider in determining admission to your program? I love question number 5. The reason I love it, it's open-ended for you. This is your opportunity to provide that narrative and that context for them to really get to know who you are. And you have complete autonomy to go ahead and put whatever you would like here. So take full advantage of number 5. So for the UC application, you can see how these will be pretty similar. So for UC, number 1, describe an example of your leadership experience in which you have positively influenced others or contributed to a group. 2, every person has a creative side expressed in many different ways: problem solving, original, innovative thinking. Describe how you express your creative side. 3, what is your greatest talent or skill, and how have you developed and demonstrated it over time? Number 4, describe how you have taken advantage of a significant educational opportunity or work to overcome an educational barrier. Number 5, describe the most significant challenge you have faced and the steps you've taken to overcome it. Number 6, think about an academic subject that inspires you and describe your further interest inside and outside of the classroom. 7, what have you done to make your school or community a better place? 8, beyond what you've already shared, what do you believe makes you a strong candidate? And again, just like number 5 on the CSU application, take full advantage of number 8 because this is your time to shine, okay? Come up with a really good narrative about yourself beyond what you've already put in your application so that they can get to know you better, your goals, your mission, so on and so forth. There's other application considerations as well. EOP information provided in this presentation only serves as a guideline. I really recommend checking out the links throughout the presentation and the links that you'll see on the last page for you to do further research on your own. So please just use this information as a general guideline. This presentation doesn't reflect all the required information needed for EOP admission, so don't rely just on these slides. Again, rely on the EOP website for further information, okay? The parent guardian educational level and educational program participation questions in the CSU and UC application responses are needed to evaluate your EOP application. This is going to vary student to student, and more information specifically on that section can be found on the EOP website, specifically on the CSU website that we saw earlier. Some programs and campuses may require additional supplemental information or an EOP interview. Okay, so you'll be contacted on the supplemental information that is required, if it is required, and you may have to actually have an in-person interview. Remember, it's going to be student dependent and it's going to be school dependent. All EOP applicants must submit the application materials requested by the campus admission as well as the EOP office. So it's a double, right? It's the campus admissions office and the EOP office, because remember, each campus is going to have a separate independent EOP office on campus that is going to be its own distinct department and office that's not affiliated with the admissions office or administration office for that matter, okay? Applicants must qualify for financial aid and submit the materials requested by the financial aid office if they wish to be considered for an EOP grant or other assistance. Now, here's the other thing that we haven't talked about yet. As an EOP student, you unlock the potential for you to get further financial assistance, financial aid, because EOP offers a grant, okay? So another plus in wanting to apply for EOP, if you're able to, is you unlock the potential for that extra financial aid. And because it's a grant, it's money that you do not have to repay. That is free for you to spend. So that actually brings us to our EOP conclusion, but just really quickly, we have some really good resources here on our final page. Let's briefly go through these. So this link is going to bring you to the Cal State EDU EOP homepage. This is where all of your resources are going to be, right? So use these slides as a guide to guide you through your EOP journey, but lean on the EOP website for all of the information that is required. Okay, and then here, links to the same site, but a different part of the site for you to actually apply. And essentially, this is the link that we saw earlier. This is basically the CSU application website. That'll allow you to apply for whatever CSU you would like to attend. And that EOP is baked into the application. And remember, it's different. These are mostly links to the CSU. The UC application will be different. We'll talk about it in a second. There is an EOP application preparation worksheet. And in fact, this worksheet was the document that we used to put a good portion of our slides together. So please use this as a resource as well. Something I do actually want to connect to right now for you is this really cool site on the CSU Apply that actually has the campus EOP contacts. So this is really awesome. This is a great resource. It's going to have all the CSU campuses listed. Not only that, it's going to have the name of the person who is in charge of that office. It has the mailing address. It has their phone number too. So if you have any questions on any of these for any of these campuses, or if you're interested in applying for these schools, you can call the EOP office on site and ask them any questions that you have about the program. And all 23 campuses are listed here. So this is really cool. All right. And then we also have the EOP CSU Applicant Resource Center. Okay. That's where you're going to have a little bit more of those detailed requirements for EOP. And then again, remember CSU, USC separate. This link here will bring you to that UC applicant resource where you have all the EOP that's applicable for those 4 UC campuses. Okay. And then the final one will bring you to an FAQ, any questions that you have on EOP in general. But remember, you can always contact the college that you're intending on going to, that you intend on applying for, to get information based on the campus you plan on attending. Because remember, there can be slight variations depending on what school you're going to actually be going to. Okay. So let me go ahead and stop here, and please let me know if we have any questions about EOP.
Yeah, thanks. I was going to chime in real quick. One, I'd actually never heard of this program either. So this is great information. I'm like, it's been nice to know, 20 plus
Like I
years
said, it flew under my radar for so long. And then I heard about it at a conference I think I was at, and I thought, wow, what a great resource. I
Yeah,
wish I had it for myself when I was going to school.
right. I did have a couple questions though. So it's along kind of those lines. Do you know if the application process, if it's a qualification based or if it's a competitive base, like to get into it? Do you know?
That's a great question. This is not competitive based. This is need based.
Okay.
Yeah. So as long as you meet those income guidelines that is derived from FAFSA, because remember, you have to do your FAFSA application, your financial aid application. It's going to be derived from your expected family contribution number, your EFC number. So your EFC has to be within the guideline of that. It was 1,500 for you to be EOP eligible. So it's need based, not competitive based.
That's good to know. And then as far as like the grant and like financial information, like financial assistance that they provide, do you know if that's like a set amount, or is that also based on need amount, or like what does that look like? Because that's also like interesting for somebody who can't afford college. Like, hey,
I
there's
know, right? So that one's a specific amount. It's
okay.
Unless it's changed, which I'm pretty sure I have the most recent, but it's $2,500.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know anyone who would say no to extra money, right, for tuition.
Right.
Good stuff. Anyone else have any questions? I was taking lots of notes. I'm like, this is great information.
Yeah, and again, I'll make sure that you have the slides too, so that you have the links.
Perfect. Thank you. And then for anyone else who's interested as a follow-up to this, or Tom will be back and his team, and we'll be hosting a workshop on FAFSA in early October. So October 2nd at 12 p.m. For those that are interested in learning about FAFSA and kind of that process. And then now that we know about EOP, we're applying for FAFSA, we know to check that box for CSU and the UC campuses and stuff. So awesome. Well, if there's no other questions, Tom, we appreciate you coming and appreciate all your information.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I really appreciate being able to share this awesome program. And I hope that you all learned a little bit about it. And yeah, don't forget to hit yes in your college application.
Awesome. Thanks so much.